Hey guys, before we get started in today's video, I just wanted to give a little bit of an apology as a precursor. I have been putting together today's video, as you can see here, for the last couple of days. These are all components in today's video. I just wrapped up our last tidbit just a couple of minutes ago. Apologies if the video is a little choppy or if it looks a little scattered in the editing. I really did do my best. There were a lot of things developed as I was getting today's episode together. So again, sorry and bear with me. Okay, let's do it. Today's video.
Doomsday CEO who correctly predicted the retail apocalypse issues another stark warning about the U.S. economy. It's ready to crack. Bob Nardelli, a respected CEO, blames the Biden administration. So this is not the first time we've heard this. There are numerous stories right now where tons of economists, CEOs are saying the economy is on the verge of shattering. Quote, "What I've seen over the past 3.5 years is that a series of debacles and missteps have created a tremendous pressure on the fault lines of our economy, and they're about ready to crack. Whoever gets the next stint in the White House is going to be hit with a wrecking ball in trying to correct the missteps and the overspending of this current administration. So we're in for a rough time, I would say." Mark that. Take a note down, screenshot it, put it in your phone, because when Donald Trump wins and the economy is in shambles, they're going to blame Trump. And then when things start getting better, they're going to say, oh, well, it's in spite of Trump.
Hello, I'm with the Biden campaign.
Yeah, I voted for Biden last time.
That's fantastic.
Is it? Everything costs more. Food, gas, rent.
Okay, but Biden's helping pay rent for newcomers to America from around the world.
You mean illegal immigrants? I'm struggling to pay my bills, but Biden's paying rent for illegals? They get handouts and I'm paying for it.
But Biden can still count on your vote, right?
Things were better before Biden. I'm voting for Trump.
Make America Great Again, Inc. is
Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871. Welcome back to BitChute. Welcome back to Rumble. Welcome back to Free Speech. Free speech that apparently YouTube is still denying over the most mundane, benign of topics. Apparently, the Joe Biden administration inflation fiasco is a no-go. That is a no-go zone for Alphabet, Google, for YouTube. So that is the impetus for today's Lateral Censor-Log. Now, of course, I stumbled upon that Trump ad, and as you guys know, I'm not voting for Trump. And as clever as the ad was, it still doesn't make me want to vote for Trump. What makes the ad so clever is that it's emphatically true. And corporate media has been waging a tooth and nail campaign to pull off what has to be the granddaddy of all Jedi mind tricks. These are not the droids you're looking for. They don't want you to believe your lying eyes. No, when you're in the checkout lane and it's all in your imagination. Or if they don't want to go with that route, then they simply go with, you know what? Maybe you should just learn to get along with less. That is basically the situation that I ran into in the comment sections of a video having to do with inflation. I could not believe the things that this economist was actually saying. He was actually encouraging people to load up on debt. Hey, look. I have no fancy degree. I mean, if you really want to get down to it, I'm just a high school dropout from Detroit, Michigan. There's a long story to all that, but that's a story for another time. And I have no special education. The only thing that I do have is real life experience, boots on the ground experience. And I want to talk today, in addition to the Lateral Censor-Log, also about the three vectors that I have been able to discern what actually causes inflation. Now, you will hear various demographics want to talk about only certain portions of it. I believe it's a triangle of sorts, where basically one point in the triangle is pointing its its fingers at the other two participants in inflation. Now, those participants of the causes, should I say, that would be the consumer, us, the consumer. The consumer, we do play a role. Probably, well, tell you what, if you're watching this on a phone, that's a pretty good indicator of your consumer, or just one good example, should I say. That's a really good example of consumer-driven inflation. How many people out there walking around with, I forget, it was 1,000. Aren't these phones on their way up to like $1,300 now? Or, they're like psychotically priced. And people, they will go for the absolute top tier flagship phone, and it never ceases to amaze when they actually get the phone out the box, get it up, get it running. They only end up using but a tiny fraction of its capabilities. Granted, it's probably because the phone is, the fancier they get, the less user-friendly they become. It's like big, thick, manual. Frankly, I think it's done deliberately, but I don't want to get off into another topic. I've said this like 10, 12 years ago, that technology should be way more user-friendly. Computer technology, that it should be way more user-friendly. We should be able to talk to our computers and have them execute our commands. You don't need, you should be able to talk to your phone and be like, phone, this video's playing, this guy's taking too long to talk. Increase speed to 1.25. Hey, no, I take no offense. I get it. Sometimes I get a little long-winded, and sometimes I do meander rather than make my point like right now. But the point is that customers, they will buy things that they don't actually need. Now, the insidious part there is that you will have the New World Order, Klaus Schwab's, World Economic Forums, all of our diabolical communist supervillains, basically. That's where they jam their toe in the door. That's how they get in through the crack. Because it is true. People, they buy things that they don't actually need. They probably could benefit from, scaling down and just getting down to size, getting down to your personal right size. However, the communist supervillains, that's basically what I'll call them, the Schwabs, Klaus, Soros, Tedros, all of them. The communist supervillain elite, they want to take that and run to the mother-loving extreme, i.e., you'll own nothing and you'll be happy, eat bugs and live in a pod. You see what I'm saying? So they want to take it to the mother-loving extreme. The other one, that would be your government. The government and their regulations. Regulations on businesses, and that in and of itself, that I could go off onto a tangent on that. Our relationship with government and all of its regulations, it's such, how do I want to say it? Do I want to, it's so bipolar, They do so many horrible things. However, they also, I guess that's what they do. They do just enough really good things to mix in with the bad things that it always keeps you wondering, kind of. I don't know, we might have different palates, but kind of like with modern day fast food, because you talk to Gen Xers or earlier, will be definitely the ones to tell you that the fast food tasted infinitely different than what it does today. Yes, I have wondered, have they already begun grinding in meat filler of God only knows what origin, to the point where I think it was the early 2000s, 2001, 2002, McDonald's started putting out Tabasco sauce and hot sauce. People were complaining that the The burgers didn't taste like anything despite the mustard ketchup. I eat mine plain cheese only, but even the people who glop up their burger with a bunch of crap, even they started to complain that the food doesn't really taste like anything. So, like I said, these observations I've been making for a while, and to bring home my analogy, was that that's how the government is in their treatment, their engagement of the population. And it is my considered opinion that they have been mixing in more and more nefarious agenda to where the point, the intermix ratio, I think it's like, I don't know, 70% nefarious agenda, 30% good for the people, because, what was it? See, I don't want to get too far off onto all these subtopics. Weights and measures, government program. Apocalypse, collapse, shit hits the fan. It's weights and measures is a division of the government that you never even think about. Oh my God. But you would definitely miss it. It'd be probably the first thing that you would miss as society began to rebuild itself after its massive collapse, meaning people who they've stacked up on their gold and silver and their prepper food and their this and their that. And well, as we go to emerge and to begin to rebuild our society, is the gold that you're transacting with, the silver that you're transacting with, is it any good? Gee, if only we had a way of verification. Oh, gee, that's weights and measures. So that's just one. I mean, I could go down a whole laundry list, but you probably don't need me to itemize everything. The government does many, many wonderful things for the people that does indeed make our society better. Unfortunately, they use that as collateral, subterfuge, camouflage to bring in their new world order. It's such a shame, and I don't know, maybe somewhere in their minds they think that they're actually doing something good, but okay, let me move on. The third one, that would be, because of course, the government, the regulations and taxation, tariffs, all of that. And I do have later in this video, I have a very prime example of both the government and the private sector, manufacturing. Like I said, I got a whole thing about corporate manufacturing and when they make products. Basically, innovation does not lead to cheaper products. It's one of the biggest lies that is constantly told and repeated by both private sector manufacturing and the government. The government likes to say this too.
Freddie tries to figure out an easier and quicker way to make soap. He goes to work to make his dreams of fun come true. After years of working night and day, Freddie's experiments bring success. Soap in cakes! Pretty soon, word gets around to the housewives who want shorter, easier wash days and cleaner clothes. Freddie's soap is just what they need. He invests his profits in larger quarters and new equipment to make enough soap to satisfy the demand. Finally, his dreams come true. Time off for fun on Saturday. As the company grows, it brings the railroad and other businesses to town. Increased property taxes from the thriving community help to build better schools, streets, parks, libraries, playgrounds, and waterworks. Budsy's expanding company creates all kinds of jobs that never existed before. To increase production and sales, Fudsy builds up a strong labor management team. Each year, he invests a portion of his profits in research to develop better soap that can be made to sell at lower prices. The Fudsy Company continues to grow with the years because it makes a good soap, which in competition with others sells at a fair price. Competition forces each manufacturer to improve his product, to sell it for less, and to give the consumer more for a dollar than his competitor. Finally, he gets so many orders he realizes that one factory simply can't meet the demand. His profit motive starts sparking to figure out a way to increase production. He forms a corporation and issues stock to raise money to build factories from coast to coast. Fudsy's employees have faith in his management and back him with their savings. Banks loan depositors money to help finance the expansion program. Insurance companies loan the funds of their policyholders to help build the factories. Stock exchanges act as a clearinghouse for people from all walks of life. The profit motive, which drove Fudsy to accomplish so much, may bring out the evil as well as the good.
Hello? Fudsy, old boy, I've got a great idea. Between us, we control 70% of the country's soap sales.
Yeah, but quiet. Let's see what's cooking. I smell trouble.
Let's raise and fix our prices. Controlling 70% of the market where we'll clean up.
Terrific. We'll make millions. Millions. Go.
Quiet. Okay, Sam. It's a deal.
You'll be sorry.
Fudsy and Sam Sudso raise and fix prices, but the result is not what they expect. A competitor comes along with a good bar of soap that sells at a lower price. Since shoppers always seek maximum value, only the lower priced soap sells, while Fudsy and Sam Sudso's profits turn into losses. 99 times out of 100, competition works. Only a business operating at a steady profit can give its workers security and employee benefits. Operating at a profit, a business can provide the employee with comfortable, colorful working conditions, high wages, and steady employment, first aid and health protection, accident and life insurance, time off for vacations. The employee working for a profitable business can maintain a savings account, own his own home, and have plenty of leisure to enjoy the peace and quiet of family life.
Innovation does not lead to cheaper products. It's one of the biggest lies that is constantly told and repeated by both private sector manufacturing and the government. The government likes to say this too, because they say it as a way of bringing in New World Order control methods, meaning electric vehicles, stuff like this. Oh, it'll be cheaper, it'll be cheaper. People, all I have to do, who remembers CFL bulbs? Who remembers, bring in the new light? That was back in 2000, 10, 11, 12. They got rid of, regular bulbs they're gone. Whatever's on the shelf, that's the last of the regular bulbs, and the new bulbs coming in. Oh, they're super duper energy efficient. You'll buy one, you'll never have to replace it again. And what happened from that? Well, the energy companies simply use their mega dollars to go and lobby Congress to raise their rates. Same thing with the electric vehicle tax credit. $7,000 tax credit. Oh, go buy one. Oh, gee, son of a gun. Man, the dealerships, they've raised their prices by $7,000. See, it just repeats itself again and again. And there was a little cartoon that I tried desperately finding it. I couldn't. I think I found another cartoon. I might get a little snippets from it later in this video. But it was a little PSA cartoon about, it was a guy, he's works in a factory making dolls of all things. And he's only privy to his little corner of the world, his section of the assembly line of the whole shebang. He's only privy to his, so he's got basically metaphorical horse blinders on. So he gets off work. He wants to go buy his daughter a toy. He goes into the store where the dolls that he helps to make are sold, and he's like, "Wow, why does this doll cost so much?" And from there, the narration in the PSA cartoon video, it's vintage, it's like back in the 50s. Takes the guy through step by step as to what causes a product to cost what it costs. And number one, the first thing that it starts off with is fuel. You know, so many people, oh my goodness, they think that things just happen magically. Greta Thunberg. They think that all these climate zealots, like I said, stop oil freaks, I don't know, are they living in a delusional world, or, you know, clearly that they have to know, because I think there was one that was even shown. If I have it in my gallery, if I got it, I'll throw it up here. The picture of the Stop Oil chick on an airliner. But of course, these people, the way that is part of a cult, though. They rationalize the irrational, and they do it to the point where it just simply it overrides any kind of hypocrisy or inconsistency. Fair-minded, logical persons like myself would point out to the cult parishioner. You know, you say this, but then there's that, and can you reconcile these? They can't reconcile it. They'll just simply put together a word salad, or sometimes they'll just simply say, "You're not looking at it the right way," or "Your mind is closed." My mind's not closed. You're just not making any kind of rational sense, you know. But these Stop Oil people, if they really want me to respect their position, I think I've said this before on the channel, then they're going to have to start living their life like Jumanji Man. Okay, remember Robin Williams, Jumanji? He comes out of the jungle. He lived in it for like, what, 30 years or whatever it was, wearing basically whatever didn't grow in the jungle, he didn't have it. You know, I think that the last thing he had of his old life was like one lens of his eyeglasses, you know. So, I know I'm getting perspired. I turned the fan off because I didn't want the ambientness, but I'm afraid. Will you forgive me for being moist? Oh my, oh Beauregard. Oh Lord, fan me. I's a damsel in distress. I know I'm a mess. But yes, cult parishioners, not just simply of the Stop Oil shit, all of them, that's like Cult 101. They will rationalize the irrational, okay? So let's jump into our lateral Censor-Log. I'm at, 16 minutes here now. Let's jump into our lateral Censor-Log, where I've already got it in the can, my analysis of it. So let's see what I've got for you today, shall we? All right, guys, so here we are at the lateral Censor-Log portion of today's video. This is the comment that started off, I guess, the lateral Censor-Log portion here today. It's got a couple of replies, a couple of engagement. I've begun to notice that when undesirable comments begin to attract attention, it is my belief that YouTube will cloak that comment, meaning that if you were to go to CBS's YouTube channel here and try to find, you know, my comment, Total Control 871's comment, I seriously doubt you'd be able to see it. You wouldn't be able to find it. I believe that this comment is completely cloaked, that the entire conversation that's in it is completely cloaked. So, but let's look at our let's look at our video. I mulled over, can I do I gotta play the whole 4 minute thing? Can I get away with just a couple of minutes of it? I do need to play the whole 4 minutes for you. Why? Because what this man says to justify this train wreck of an economy is so batshit crazy. Even the anchor that he's talking to, even she says that loading up your credit card like that is very dangerous. But let's get into our episode here.
More than half of Americans believe the United States is in a recession, and they're putting the blame on President Biden. This is according to a recent Harris poll conducted for The Guardian. The U.S. GDP, though, has increased beyond economists' expectations in 2024, the exact opposite of what would be defined as a recession. So joining us right now is CBS News contributor Javier David. He's the managing editor of business and markets at Axios. So can you paint us a picture of what the economy is actually doing and what is behind this misconception?
Okay, and I'm going to wrap.
Okay, one thing I want to point out, she said that she spoke about what a recession is. Now, what I find incredibly, yes, toward the, you know what, I'll just say it, toward the end of this 4 minute clip here, this dude, he had the unmitigated gall to say that a recession is defined as 2 quarters worth of retraction. Wait a minute. Didn't that happen in 22? Was it 22 or 23? And the Democrats were saying, well, no, that's not the actual definition of what a recession is. Remember, because they were so desperate, they didn't want a recession to happen on Biden's watch, that they literally changed the definition of what a recession is. Yet here in this video, they literally change it back. They can't even make up their mind on their lies. They can't even keep their lies straight.
Off a couple of numbers.
Okay.
So first and foremost, you mentioned at the top of the conversation, first quarter growth slowed to 1.6%. That was a little bit softer than what people thought, but it's slower than Q4, 3.3%, still growing. Year over year, GDP last year, 3.1%. Compare that to the year before, 0.7%. This is a really strong economy. And plus, what you'd expect people to think of as recessionary is higher jobs, higher unemployment rather, and slower spending. None of those things are happening. And so this is, again, a really strong economy, but people certainly don't feel it in sentiment poll after sentiment poll.
What's behind that sentiment? Is it essentially that wages aren't keeping up with inflation?
Wages actually have started keeping up with inflation. So we actually flipped the paradigm sometime last year. And, don't quote me on exactly when, but basically the rates of inflation had started to slow enough so that wages started to finally sort of meet that expectation. The problem is, we talk a lot about inflation. Inflation has cooled, but it has not been defeated. Prices are still rising. People still feel it every day in everything they buy. Grocery store. I think one of the major areas in which prices have come off are like used car sales and retail. But by and large, you're still feeling it. Like if you go to the movies, like you pay a lot of money for just about everything. And that tends to color perceptions about the economy. And that's sort of the prism through which everybody feels or perceives like economic conditions. Like I'm paying so much and I only make so much and my money is not sort of stretching the way that I would really like it to. And we haven't even gotten into the conversation about rent and housing, which is just absolutely unaffordable. Yeah. But for a lot of people.
Let's talk about travel. Today's Memorial Day, unofficial start of summer. And so people are saying they're spending more than they want to, but the numbers are showing people are still going on vacation.
And that is the key. It's good old retail therapy. Like $1 trillion worth of credit card debt tells you everything you need to know about what's happening.
He just said it, $1 trillion worth of credit card debt. Also, they're picking what? Travel? Need I remind you that all of these airlines, so that they will remain eligible for government bailouts, they are bending over backwards to meet government DEI quotas. That is having catastrophic results. We're seeing it on the tarmac and in the air. Okay? They're clinging to their DEI as their means of emergency escape so that they will remain eligible for government bailouts. I can't believe he actually said that. He is talking about loading up. He said $1 trillion on credit card. Are you out of your effing mind? Are these people even listening to themselves? Okay, because we don't know how much these people paid for these airline tickets. Just because a whole bunch of people are traveling, it doesn't mean that they were traveling. You know, what did they pay? What kind of revenue are the airlines generating for all of this air travel? Are they desperately trying to get people back? Because who are we kidding people? They've got to be running some sweetheart deals. The whole Boeing fiasco, the DEI, it's all blowing up in their face. They have got to be running some sweetheart deals, and we're seeing it in real time. Every other week, a brand new story about how planes are almost crashing into each other, the type of people working in the air traffic control towers. It is absolutely psychotic, but they think that everything is honky-dory. That's the whole gist. That's the takeaway from this entire segment, that it's all one big Jedi mind trick. That what you're seeing isn't really happening. That it's all in your mind, and the fact that you're shopping doesn't even meet your needs, that therefore something's wrong with you, with your perception of the situation.
People are absorbing, not happily, of course, but they're absorbing the price hikes. And
Today's Memorial Day, unofficial start of summer. And so people are saying they're spending more than they want to, but the numbers are showing people are still going on vacation.
And that is the key. It's good old retail therapy. Like $1 trillion worth of credit card debt tells you everything you need to know about what's happening. People are absorbing, not happily, of course, but they're absorbing the price.
Not happily, of course. People are... He's right about that. $1 trillion in credit card debt, it definitely tells me everything I need to know. One thing I want to point out here, when he says that people are absorbing it and that they're just not happy about it, I really want to push back on that concept right there. If I'm not mistaken, it was even cited in the movie The Big Short, Michael Burry, as he was out there hundreds of millions of dollars shorting all of this real estate stock. And of course, all the Wall Street banks that he was going to short all of this real estate stock, they think that he's crazy. Why do they think that Michael Burry is crazy? They literally said it. Who doesn't pay their mortgage? Okay? I get it. I'm sure they understood that, you'll have X amount of people who will default in a mortgage. It's not like it's never happened. But what they're talking about is the grand scheme, because this guy was out here buying hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of stock to be shorted. So he is basically banking on the entire real estate market to collapse, not just simply a handful of people who fell behind. And they literally said it. Who doesn't pay their mortgage? And that told me everything I needed to know about all of these ultra wealthy elites. Okay? These people are completely out of touch with everyday people like myself, like you. They think that you just simply have magical money, that it simply comes out of thin air. I don't know. Maybe that's why these people are so anxious to print money, because they think that the money simply comes out of thin air. It doesn't. Because they think that the money simply comes out of thin air. It doesn't. And I truly, now mind you, this is just my personal opinion. I do believe that as people continue to rack up their credit cards, because everybody in America is basically waiting for the big recovery to happen. And it's going to get very ugly once it becomes apparent that the recovery, it isn't going to happen, not the way they think it is. There's going to be a massive collapse.
Hikes, and the fact that people continue to spend sends a message to all of the service providers that it's okay to continue to raise prices because people are going to eat them. Travel, Memorial Day, holiday travel, people are working a lot remotely still. You can make it into a long weekend. You can go work from wherever you need to work from. And even those that don't have to work remotely, if you have a credit card, why not charge it and think about what you're going to do about the balance in another 30 days?
Again, what is that, the second or the third time that he's cavalierly telling people, just charge it on your credit card, worry about it in another 30 days. Let's hear it again.
So,
dangerous territory.
Make it into a long weekend. You can go work from wherever you need to work from. And even those that don't have to work remotely, if you have a credit card, why not charge it and think about what you're going to do about the balance in another 30 days or so. Make it into a long weekend. You can go work from wherever you need to work from. And even those that don't have to work remotely, if you have a credit card, why not charge it and think about what you're going to do about the balance in another 30 days or so.
Dangerous territory. Quickly before we let you go, what are you thinking about the rest of...
That's correct. You heard her correct. Dangerous territory. The anchor, I told you, even the anchor said that what he is advising people to do is absolutely dangerous. Load up your credit cards, cross your fingers, hope for the best. Okay? Like I said, what was it, 4 minutes? That's 3 minutes 12. Yeah, I'm telling you, that this is basically the gist of it. These people, these ultra wealthy elites, and if I'm being honest, it's on both sides of the aisle. These people are completely out of touch with everyday Americans. They don't understand. Our money isn't magical. What this guy is saying is that Americans are, he's saying that we are absorbing the inflation and that we're just bitching about it, okay? That's his concept right there, that we are just absorbing it and just bitching about it. Oh, really? Let's take a look at some of this absorption, shall we? An example of it. In case you're wondering what you are looking at, this is my front yard. That's correct, people. The grass is over 3 feet tall. It's about 3.5 feet tall. My grass. This is an example of what this man would say is that Americans are just absorbing it. Why is my grass so tall? Because I can't afford the lawn service. I am going to get it cut next week, but I should have started my lawn service a month ago, 2 months ago. I should have started, about a month ago in April. I should have started. It's May now. Okay. But I couldn't. And frankly, I was, if you guys recall from my prior video, I said that I was going to start the lawn service in July. But as you see, it's already a whopping 3.5 feet tall. I really cannot put this off anymore. I have to do this. So what this now means is that I'm going to have to, I can't pay the water bill. So my water bill is already $200 in the red from last summer because I stopped paying the water bill in order to pay the lawn service. Remember now, our dashing and daring baritone voice economic advisor. This man would have me believe that I'm doing A-OK. You're doing just fine. And of course, you guys know from my prior videos what my refrigerator looked like. I'm winding down to the end of the month. It's pretty much looking like that again. From there, let's jump into my comment and we'll take a look at what we got, because this is what causes our Lateral Censor-Log episode, where I say this has got to be the worst Jedi mind trick I've seen in years. One of my recent trips to Walmart, I spent $500 on everything. I spent $500. Let me start this again. See, I'm so upset. This has got to be the worst Jedi mind trick I've seen in years. One of my recent trips to Walmart, I spent $500 and everything fit inside the shopping cart with room to spare. Whatever the Biden administration is paying corporate media, yes, I do believe that they're back channeling to all the left-wing corporate media. Whatever they're paying to corporate media to spin this horrific narrative, it's not working. So let's take a look at our troll reply. Well, they're bots. That's what they are. They're engineered design bots to assist with the spin narrative. And basically, Jack 8458, it's probably most likely a software program. Jack would have me basically buy into everything that this dude is telling me, that this economist is telling me, that everything is honky-dory, everything's okay, where he says the strength of the economy isn't measured by how much it costs to fill your grocery cart. To which I say, famous last words uttered before the dollar collapses. Jack then comes back and says, don't worry. That's just your paranoia. Now remember what my refrigerator looked like, that barren wasteland of a refrigerator of mine. That's just your paranoia talking. The US dollar isn't going to collapse. Maybe buy less prepackaged food and you will cut that bill back. I found that to be very interesting. So let's take a look at our censored reply, shall we? Okay, we're now looking at our censored reply here. Jack's last comment was, don't worry, that's just your paranoia talking. The US dollar isn't going to collapse. Maybe buy less prepackaged food and you will cut back that bill. See, that's what they're always telling us. Buy less, get by with less. This is the words of a communist dictator as he continues to add stress. I'm serious when I say that. I'm not being hyperbolic. China, North Korea, the Soviet Union, the USSR before it collapsed. These are all hallmark. This talking point, saying something like this is what they were pushing on the people prior to their government collapse, their society collapse, the collapse of their country. Okay? They put more and more pressure on people to be more productive. It's quite literally the way, and I speak from experience, the way a person's heart will begin to work harder and harder as a person gains more and more weight. It works harder and harder to the point where one heart is literally having to do the work of two, or in some cases, 2.5. Some extreme cases where people get up to 800 and 900 pounds. That's literally the one heart pumping blood for the mass of 4 adult bodies. It's a miracle that the heart doesn't just simply collapse and cave in on itself with a massive coronary heart attack, infarction. I know those are like all different things and different cardiac events, but you get what I'm saying. These governments, that's what they do. They continue to put more and more stress on their population. And also, in addition to adding more and more stress to produce more, they also want them to demand and expect less. Less and less until basically, yes, people, a return to out and out slavery. Okay? So let's look at my reply here. Now, this is a censored reply. This reply is not allowed. The Google algorithm has deleted this. And you're going to see when I refresh the page, you'll see that this is completely deleted. And I know you probably read it already while I was talking. You're going to be like, what? Why did they delete this? Yes, you should ask yourself. I mean, this is nothing more than a simple discussion on economy. This is me giving my real life experience with what is happening to me in my everyday life. How are you going to tell me? Hold on while this aircraft goes over. Okay, hopefully it's not being piloted by DEI. But how are you going to tell me that what I am experiencing is not real, that it's mal or disinformation or whatever it is? That's propaganda for you. That's a propagandist. That's what Jack's job is. Jack's job is to shatter objective reality and feed you a lie. Not groceries, not food, but feed you a lie. All right, so I reply to Jack here and I say, buy less food. Tell me that's not straight out of the World Economic, WEF, straight out of the World Economic Cult Handbook. Maybe that's what got this comment deleted, because of course you're not allowed to criticize the World Economic Forum. Oh my. Well, I already only eat twice a day. My breakfast is either 2 hard-boiled eggs or a $2 frozen egg scramble. You guys know, you've seen it in my fridge. My the smart ones or the lean cuisine. I have the smart one egg scramble sometimes. Tonight's dinner is a 1/4-pound burger topped with only 1 slice of cheese, and I've showed that to you guys as well. My little 1/4-pound frozen. I divide it up, and I got my whole wheat bread there. Where exactly would you have me cut back? My water bill is $200 in the red, and my lawn is way overgrown because I can't afford the service any sooner than next month. Why is it you people's answer to everything is just make do with less? Just make do with less while the people who created this crisis get to live high on the hog. Okay? And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a completely censored comment. Poof, gone. Gone, gone, gone. Not only is that gone, but even this got censored, where I say, oh goody, my original comment is being deleted by the censorship algorithm, which means only one thing. It's time for a new Lateral Censor-Log episode on my channel. Yay, party! And that's exactly why we're doing this Lateral Censor-Log episode. Oh, but don't worry, this is also censored. Poof, gone. This should be of great concern to you. I mean, it's not about me and my hurt feelings or nothing like that. Okay, I'm going to put the comment back again one more time. Put it back one last time because I really, really want you to take a look at this and to see what YouTube, what Google Alphabet does not want you to see. This entire conversation, they don't want you seeing this. Worse, talking about that you're not buying into their mind tricks, that your brainwashing is not working, as I say here, not working. Your brainwashing is not working on me, and that makes their robots, their algorithm very upset. Okay? They don't want you educated. They don't want you talking about what's happening in your own life. Buy less food. Tell me that's not straight out of the World Economic Cult Handbook. Well, I already only eat twice a day. My so-called breakfast is either 2 hard-boiled eggs or a $2 frozen scramble. Tonight's dinner is a 1/4-pound burger topped with only 1 slice of cheese. Now, to be fair, I've always been a plain cheese only kind of guy, okay? So I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but you get my point. Where exactly would you have me cut back? My water bill's $200 in the red, and my lawn is way overgrown. I can't afford the service any sooner than next month. Why is it you people's answer to everything is just make do with less while the people who created this crisis get to live high on the hog? There is no slur, no ethnic slur, no religious slur, no threat of violence, no veiled threat of violence, nothing. And yet, this comment is completely forbidden. How do you feel about that? Oh, it was only in my dreams. As real as it may seem, it was only in my dreams. That's right, people. As you struggle at the checkout line, don't you dare believe your lying eyes. It was all a dream. These are not the droids you're looking for. Jedi mind trick. Tell me, how do you feel about that? Okay, guys, so here I really want to drive home exactly how inflation, how it's a vice grip on the economy, because I believe our commenter Jack, he seems to believe that just because my shopping cart is running a little light, so to speak, that inflation, it's all in my mind. He's obviously a Biden administration operative, paid service, should I say, rather than an operative. I'm sure the Biden administration, they coerce their influence on big tech platforms like YouTube, and they, in kind, will create and dispatch bot programs like our Jack 8448 or whatever call sign that they're going by. That they will then try to spin and to stymie and to tamp down dissenting, realistic opinions like mine. So you're probably wondering, what are we looking at? Well, this is the text log from my lawn service guy. And as you can see here on, let's see, I'll change back to a red. On the 26th of this month, I gave him a text. Hi, Craig. I'll be ready for a cut and trim next week. Grass is pretty high, but not too thick. Now, remember that phrase that I just said. I just told him that the grass is pretty high. And in case you're wondering how high, well, it's this high. By my measurement, I would say that this is about 3.5 feet tall. So Greg texts back. He says, okay, I'll add you to schedule next week. I was actually expecting him in a couple of days, meaning somewhere around the 1st of June, but, whatever. I say, thanks. Check is scheduled to arrive by the 4th. Then we get this. So today, while I'm actually still in bed. Had been awake for maybe an hour or so. I was actually waiting to hear my coffee maker activate. I roll out of bed once I start smelling my brew. And I get a good morning text from Craig. Good morning, Charles. I'm going to have to charge an overgrowth charge on this cut. It will be doubled. Now, in case you're wondering, I pay $32 for lawn service. I think maybe a quarter acre. It might be that big, maybe, or maybe smaller than that. So $32. And now I was somewhat expecting some kind of overgrowth charge. I just didn't think that he was going to double the bill to $64. So that's when I replied with this. I say, good morning, Craig. I understand the lawn is overgrown, but what I don't understand is why disclose you're charging double only after the work has begun. Now, you might take notice here that I am replying to this at 9:20, and I got our text from Greg at 9:13. So the guy showed up and started cutting at around 9:10. So that's why, I'm rolling out of bed now, looking out of windows, seeing that there are people working on the lawn. I'm like, oh, wow, I guess Greg is here to do the lawn a couple of days early. Okay, that's fine. If he wanted to, whatever, I can't tell him what his worth is, what his time, labor, materials. It's true. It's not for me to dictate to him, what it's all worth. Now we can discuss the price, which is what I had said. Because right now, technically, this man has just simply taken it upon himself that he is going to do this service and that he is setting the price at $64 and that I'm going to be paying this $64. And frankly, the whole, what's the word I want to use? Irreverence or the presumption, okay? The presumption of all that, it's pretty grandiose. I don't know, maybe, see, I don't want to get into too deep into the heads of these guys, these lawn service, because I go to talk about it later in the text log here. I think maybe the neighborhood that I live in is somewhere like, maybe 6-figure income or something like that. Of course, I'm, disabled. That's the word looking for, is basically saying kind of what our commenter Jack, the Jackbot in the comment section, or even what our economist said on the CBS piece. Basically, you guys got it. You're just bitching and moaning about having to pay it. But you got it. Really? Are you sure about that now? Okay. So let's read on in our text log. Where he texted me in his good morning text. There was a picture of my house with the overgrown lawn and everything, and I understand what he was doing. He wasn't trying to necessarily be insulting. He's probably just simply taking photographic evidence, proof, so should there be any kind of dispute later, about why he's charging so much, that here is the proof of what your lawn looked like. Okay, that's fine. But again, you did not discuss this with me. You just simply took it upon yourself and assumed that I would be able to pay double. You rolled the dice, and now we're about to see what the consequences of rolling the dice are. Okay? I say to him, and thank you for the picture, meaning of my house, but I know what the yard looks like already. However, you might not know what the inside of my refrigerator looks like. Behold, Joe Biden's inflation. There's not a lot I can cut back on, because remember, that's what our Jack says. So like I said, this whole thing, even though this segment of today's episode is taking place a day after I filmed all of my principal for our inflation episode today. This is actually happening. It might be a day or two later. And I am basically, it's not that I'm bringing my debate with Jack, this Jackbot, to an actual human being, the lawn guy, but basically that's what I'm saying. There's not a lot that I can cut back on. At double the charge, I won't be able to afford you again until August or later. And of course, the pictures that I sent him, seeing as how, he was being so clever as to send me a picture of my overgrown lawn, I decided, well, here it is. You guys are familiar with this if you've seen my inflation episode, my Joe Biden inflation episode. It's basically just the stark, empty refrigerator. It's not meant to emotionally blackmail my lawn guy. It's not meant to do that. But I do see that this is very much indeed fair game, seeing as how he's basically doing his own version of guilt trip blackmail. I've started the work. The work's been done. What are you going to do? You're going to stiff me? What are you going to do? You're not going to pay? You're going to stiff me? I've already started the work, that kind of a thing. So therefore, I feel that my showing him my stark empty refrigerator, that's very much indeed fair game. So Craig comes back with, being that you knew the grass was high already, you should have put a little extra in the check. So he says that I knew the grass was high. And how do I know the grass is high? Because I already told him that the grass was high. So if there was going to be any kind of overgrowth charge, again, he should have discussed this with me upon his arrival. By the way, he didn't stay to do the work. He's a small business, minority-owned small business. He's got a couple of trucks. He's a very nice guy. I like him a lot. And he had, he's got big equipment, and but he did have some workers working for him. Let's just say I would never ask anybody their immigration status. It's not what I do. But anyway, let me get back on my point here, is that he's basically saying, he's in that first sentence there of this particular reply of his, it lets me know that he understands that I already communicated to him that the grass was overgrown and that there was going to be an extra charge. He should have replied right away saying, okay, well, there's going to be an overgrowth charge. My overgrowth fees are, double the whatever it is, or whatever it was. He should have told me. Okay, I'm going to stop saying that because I feel like I'm constantly repeating myself. I think I've made that point. It goes on to say here, I've been fine with that, but you didn't even disclose. He's trying to be cute here and use my words, I guess, against me. But you didn't even disclose that it was high. It was high as it was until my guys got there. I guess basically what he's trying to say is that he didn't know exactly how high it was until he got here. Again, that's when you get out of your truck, seeing as how you had the time where you could snap a picture, hop out the truck, rat-a-tat-tat on the door, Amir, how you doing? I see your lawn is really overgrown. This is what it's going to cost to get done. Are you cool with that? Okay. So then I go on to say here, open that up all the way. And by the time he had replied to that, I actually was, because, yes, like I said, the emotional blackmail that he was giving me, seeing as how the work was, oh my God, like half done by the time we're in the middle of this text exchange, I'm not going to just simply not pay him. This $64, it went from $32 to $64. So what's going to be? Again, our commenter Jack, he seems to think that it all just comes out of thin air. It's all magical, but that's a communist for you. That the money is all magical and that it just simply comes out of nowhere. Or to be more specific, like our economists on CBS and the bot commenter Jack would say or imply, you got it. You actually have the money. Just dig a little deeper and you'll get it. So we taking a look here at my text as to exactly how I'm going to be able to afford this this unplanned for financial incursion, shall we say. I was on the phone because I'm texting with him, but I'm on the phone with Xfinity. Oh, by the way, I didn't return the Xfinity because I did go from the $50 plan down to the $30 plan. And they allowed me to do that without a contract. So, I had been paying $20, but okay, I'll pay the $30 and to keep the internet, because again, my eyes require, in other words, I can't spend the rest of my life using my phone screen as a television, or I will just continue to go blind. So I did pay that extra $10. However, now that I have this suddenly unaccounted for expense, let's take a look at what I had to do. Well, I'm actually on the phone with Xfinity now, downgrading my service to their bare bones $9.95 plan so I can pay you. Now, I'm not trying to be cheeky with that or give any kind of emotional blackmail, but again, because he has taken it upon himself to just simply do the work without discussing it with me first, I do feel that all of this is fair play. Yeah, where he says a little extra, and I didn't want to be condescending to him when he says put a little extra in the check. It's condescending. I didn't want to be condescending to him, but that's not how business operates. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it's even spoken of in the Bible where it says, in all thy dealings, get a good understanding, in your business dealings and things. And, just saying a little extra, what's a little extra to you? What's a little extra to me? So it shouldn't be ambiguous like that. You're supposed to have a very clear, mapped out thing. But, I didn't want to, sound like a snarky prick trying to tell him how to run his small business, but that's not the way business is done. But anyway, I go on to say here, the little extra you speak of doesn't come out of thin air. Look, Craig, I'm not denying the lawn required more equipment, more labor, and more time to complete. But unfortunately, I don't have more money. And it's true. The lawn, it did take about twice the amount of time that it normally took. They had to use 2 of the big mowers instead of 1, and they had to spend a little bit more time with the trimmer. And there was so much overgrowth that normally they just simply cut the grass, do a little blowing with the blower, load it back up, and they're on their way, a little zip zap, and then gone. But this, they had to, they got the type of canvas trash bag or lawn bag or whatever you call it, the little those spring canvas bags. I don't know, whatever. They ended up collecting all of the cut overgrowth, everything that was cut. So they had to. So basically, they're taking away the clippings, and that's something that I don't normally get done. So I'm not denying that the yard needed more work, and I'm not expecting him to work for free or work extra for free. See, I feel like I'm a damn broken record. What I'm saying is he should have spoken to me first, because honestly, people, it did cross my mind to get out there with some rubber bands and start rubber banding the grass together, and then get out there with my machete and just start cutting it down, basically like you chop off somebody's ponytail, I considered that. But anyway, I don't want to keep repeating myself here. I'll go on. It goes on to say here, but unfortunately, I don't have more money. I got about $17 in the bank and a sad, lonely $10 bill in my wallet. All by itself. My $10 all by itself. I'm not blaming you, although you really should have talked to me before starting the work to ask if I could afford it. And I fully understand that your business is subject to the same crushing inflation as the consumer. But at the end of the day, I only have but so much money. Remember, I'm disabled on SSD fixed income. The neighborhood's median income might be in the 6 figures, but rest assured, I am definitely not living a 6-figured salary life. I'll send you a second check, because like I said, I had to cut the internet service down from $30 to $10. I'll send you a second check for overgrowth for $32 next month. And when I meant that, because it was so late in the month, it's the 29th. So it's practically June. So he's going to get that in July, that $32 in July. So basically, the $32 that he's going to get in July, that's going to be the overgrowth check for his June service. And July, the lawn won't be cut again. And it won't be cut again in, what do you call it? August either. I'm looking more toward the first week of September. And of course, again, and the reason why is because I'm going to need more money, because obviously it's going to be a double fee yet again. it's going to be another $64 come the first week of September. Okay. And then after the first week of September, I'll be cutting in October, mid-October. It'll be, because it'll only be a month by then. A month, and what do you call it? It'll be the regular $32. And in mid-October, because that's when I have to start doing the leaves, you definitely want the lawn cut one last time before you start doing your lawn leaves, as the leaves start coming down. Now, so that's going to be, so let's hop over, because we're talking about inflation and the consequences of inflation. So now that we read our text log, let's see if there was, oh, wait. We got more in the text log. So let's check out what we got here. Okay, so Greg comes back with, you keep talking about inflation. Okay, Jack, if you're out there, Bot Jack or Joe Biden, your small businessman, he's minority, small businessman, and he's talking your language. He's talking your, what it is that, I do believe Greg, he understands that there's inflation, is that I get, what do you call it, a microcosm. He's not able to see the grand scheme and how everything is connected. He's not looking beyond his own, you know what I'm saying? Where he says, you keep talking about inflation. There is no inflation. It's just the labor that was done. That's all that I'm asking for. I'm not asking for anything with inflation. The same stuff you paid last year, meaning the same $32 rate last year, is the same that I'm asking you to pay this year. On the last cut, I have not went up at all. So yeah, I get it, and definitely, I appreciate that. Thank God that he didn't increase his rate. That is good, but unfortunately, let's just simply go to my my text here, where I say, yes, I understand that. Unfortunately, your service isn't my only financial responsibility. In other words, if my food stamps hadn't been slashed from $280 per month to $95 a month, or the ACP internet credit, that's the thing that helps me with my internet bill, if the ACP internet credit hadn't been discontinued, or the overall cost of food skyrocketing, then yes, I could have not only started lawn service late April, meaning that it would have spared me the overgrowth fee. I understand the concept of what he's saying, mind you. I would have loved, and this is me trying to tell him that I would have loved to have been able to start the service much sooner. And I go on to even say here, not only in April, but have it done twice a month, which is how I used to have it done before the fake pandemic economy, killed the economy with the fake pandemic inflation. So I understand what he's saying. He's just not understanding what I'm saying. I wish my financial responsibilities start and ended with just simply getting the lawn done. That would be lovely. My rent, matter of fact, that goes into effect. My rental increase goes into effect next month in June. My lease renews in June. And like I said, I get rental assistance, and they tabulate everything. This year, there was a $200 increase in my rent. Now, I don't want to be hyperbolic or misleading. I only have to pay a portion of that $200, thank God. But nevertheless, the overall point, because we're talking about, because it isn't just me. Please don't mistake today's episode about me bitching about just me. It's not just me. I'm trying to make everybody aware that this is everywhere, and that the economy, it's all connected, and that we are all vitally dependent upon each other, to keep the economy going and healthy. And the $200 increase in rent that begins next month. So what can I tell you, people? This is what I'm saying, Unfortunately, I would have loved to have gone back to twice a month, get it started late April, early May, get it started twice a month, there, therefore foregoing any kind of overgrowth fee. But unfortunately, it has to come from somewhere. Just like I can't I can't make food materialize out of thin air, nor can I make money in my wallet materialize out of thin air. Okay, guys, before I move on from the lawn care section to showcase and emphasize the cause and effects of inflation, what I want to do is I want to show you, break it down for you, the actual cause and effect, not only the cause and effect of inflation, but I also want to break down the consequences. I want to tabulate that for you in real life dollars and cents. Okay, so to get my lawn done, it costs $32 for, per cut and trim. And like I said, I'm not faulting Greg because it's just basically tough on both of us, It's tough on him as a small business owner. It's tough on me as a consumer. But that's what happened when you tried bringing about this new world order under the subterfuge of a fake pandemic. You turned on the printing presses and you thought that the consequences of all this spending would never come, and yet here they are. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say. What I'm going to do here with my calculator, I'm going to show you in real life dollars and cents. I'm not an economist. I don't have a fancy PhD or anything like that. I'm just a guy who can add and subtract, okay? Basic 4th grade math is what I'm talking, okay? That's why I don't fall for the Jedi mind trickery. Okay, I haven't lost my grasp of 4th grade math. Okay, so it's usually normally once upon a time, And by the way, I wanted to say this before the fake pandemic, I was getting along and paying all of my bills on just my Social Security, okay? Just that. I didn't need, matter of fact, I wasn't getting food stamps at all. My social worker, they wanted me to start the food stamp program because I'm disabled, and the reason why I told them that I didn't want to go through the hassle is because it paid so little, So, after the fake pandemic, after the fake pandemic spending, and they ended up shutting off, basically, like I said, all the credits, all of the support. Unfortunately, despite their best Jedi mind trick efforts, the inflation is still there. And I'm sorry, I don't swallow that 3 point whatever percent, was it 3.2% inflation? It's a lie. It is a lie, okay? The inflation, it's still right up there. Like I said, of all of this spending, government spending, and then all the inflation that it caused, and how it's now being dumped at the feet of everyday Americans, like my lawn service guy and myself, okay? So once upon a time, I would start my lawn service in, I think, May, okay? And I do it for 6 months, so basically half the year for the growing season, and I would get that done twice a month. So that's 6 months, twice a month, so that's 12 cut and trims at $32. So we can see here that at the end of the year, come October, my lawn service guy, he would make $384 off of just me. Now, when they shut off last year, when they shut off my, or should I say slashed, they slashed down my food stamps, like I told you in the segment, from $280 down to $95. Well, the inflation is still up there. it is still psychotically high to go shopping. So therefore, to make ends meet, because I'm already behind on the water bill, $200. And that's how it got behind $200, because last year I just simply stopped paying the water bill in order to pay the lawn service. And what happened was that I had to go from 12 cut and trims down to 6. So we're going to go ahead and divide this by 2. So last year, like I said, normally the years prior, before the fake pandemic, they were making what, $380 some off of me. But now last year, all my lawn guy made off of me was $192. So now my lawn guy is being expected to make do with less. Why? Because I'm being expected to make do with less. But then it got even more severe, because I had to forestall the cut till, well, it was supposed to have been June. Actually, if you guys remember from my Joe Biden inflation video, I said that I was really trying to even put it off until July. But it got, like I said, to 3.5 feet tall, almost 4 feet tall. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to not pay June's water bill. The water bill payments are going to have to, I wanted to pay that one more month. But so basically, it was my intention then to pay for, what was it? So June, July, August, September, October. So it would have been 5 at 32. So that's $160. See, it got even less. That was my original plan. But like I told you, the lawn ended up costing me, for that one cut and trim, $64. And unfortunately, what's going to happen now, because the overgrowth fee, it's so exorbitant, well, here are the consequences from that. That's right, people. I am going to be purchasing a mower and a trimmer. And in case you're wondering, because I know you probably already heard me say, well, I thought you didn't have any money. Yeah, this came out of my grocery money. For the month of June, I will not be purchasing groceries. I'll be completely dependent on the food bank for the money. Probably a couple of food banks, to be honest. So this is what's happened. This is the consequence of this. So the $200 or $300 that, about $350 plus my $95 in food stamps, and yeah, boom, $450, almost $500. Like I said, that's how much it costs to go shopping at the supermarket. And this is what I will be purchasing. The HyperTough. This is a corded electric mower. And what do you call it? It's $160. And this is the trimmer that costs $40. So this is going to be $200. Okay. $200 is what everything you're looking at right now is going to cost me. So this is the grocery money. So this is the consequence. This is cause and effect. Okay. I don't even know how, with these things costing so little, I don't even know how, hopefully, I hope and pray to God I'll do my best to take care of them, to keep the maintenance on them as good as I can. Hopefully they will last me for a few years. I didn't want to mess around with gas stuff. It's nice. It is convenient. And even the battery stuff, I didn't want to mess with that, because those batteries, they try to sell you that it's super convenient, but the reality is that a lot of those battery powered yard equipment tools, they overheat quite a bit. So there you go. That is what is happening. How do you feel about that? I mean, that has got to be one of the most innocuous topics on YouTube, on various social media platforms. I mean, how wild is that? You're not allowed to point out your own real life lived experiences with inflation. Tell me that's not the craziest thing you've ever seen in your life. I mean, but hey, if anything, like I say, this isn't about my hurt feelings. Trust me, that ship sailed. I'm just simply, the whole purpose of the lateral Censor-Log, in case you didn't know, I'm trying to create a log. When you make a log, I am trying to create a log of all the various different topics. You see, because my comments are constantly censored. If I made a lateral Censor-Log, every episode that I got censored, I'd be making the things forever. I only pick certain ones because I want to keep a log of everything that these super tech platforms, who we've already confirmed are in league with the executive branch. Okay, and also the what do they call it? The surveillance branch, the intelligence agencies. There you go. The intelligence agencies and the executive branch. Okay, under their auspices. So we're seeing how our government, under using private business social media platforms as their subterfuge to censor and to infringe upon our First Amendment rights. They give their directives to the tech platforms, and the tech platforms carry them out. I think we already know that, though. But yes, I just simply wanted to point that out. And also, I did have more in that segment regarding a particular anecdote story of mine regarding Transformers, more than meets the eye. It got long, and I just wanted to... So instead of playing that whole thing, I'll just simply give a summation. Basically, in my soliloquy, and as the years wore on, my grandmommy, she would buy less and less because, and you know what, I really wish I could cut to some, I don't have the time really to go rifling through his endless footage, or I would. Devin Carroll, he's definitely one of the premier experts on YouTube regarding Social Security. This was in the early 80s, and I'm sure he could probably give a detailed explanation how Social Security was horrifically stagnant in terms of giving COLAs, cost of living adjustments. And as time went on, my grandmommy, she just simply could not keep pace whatsoever. I mean, thank God the house was paid for. Otherwise, both of them, my grandmommy and my pop, they would have just been homeless on the street if the house hadn't been paid for. But yeah, they just simply couldn't. So it got to the point where she would just simply, they should have like a little bit of money. This one particular trip involving Transformers, Jetfire to be specific. I forget the name of the mall or whatever. It may have been the Deptford Mall. I don't know. It was 40 some years ago. And she only had about $40-50, and she split it between us. Early, like 1982, for a kid to get $25 spending money, it was pretty good. I mean, I wasn't rich. I wasn't Rick Schroeder Silver Spoons rich, but, definitely compared to the other kids in my neighborhood, it was good. And anyway, the point is that I went to a whole thing talking about Transformers, how Transformers, the actual physical toys, existed long before the cartoon, and reps. Mattel, Hasbro, Playmates, all Toy Biz, they all send their toy rips over to Japan. They shop around to find toys. They'll go to the toy district. And anyway, the point is that they'll pick out certain toys, put them together, And there you go, bada boom, bada bing, you've got Transformers. And I remember a buddy of mine, Sam, we'll call him Sam. I've spoken about him before. Anyway, and I thought Sam had a knockoff Dinobot, because many years later, I would learn that what he had was a Takara. Takara was the original. It was the original Japanese one. So it could be argued that me having Hasbro's Transformers was actually the knockoff. But the point is that his Dinobot, I think it was either the Brontosaurus or the Stegosaurus. No, I think he had both. He had the Brontosaurus and the Stegosaurus, Slag and Snarl, Slag and Snarl. I think that's what their names are. And they only cost $4, you know? And I distinctly remember feeling sorry for him. I swear to God, sometimes I can be a conceited little shit. I remember feeling sorry for him that he had to buy knockoff. It was from the Avenue, from Atlantic Avenue. You know, they put the toys out on the toy table. Yes, theft wasn't rampant back then. And yeah, it was like a blue light special, man. And he got two. And of course, I got the Hasbro Transformer brand one that cost, I think it was $15, and I only got one. So, you know, in the end, I guess you could say it would be Sam who's laughing at me. But anyway, that whole soliloquy, it points to manufacturing. The reason why the Takara was so cheap was because the Takaras, back in the 80s anyway, it's a different story today, they were made cheap, dirt cheap, like crazy dirt. Trust me, even though his only cost $4 each, the stores still made profit off of it. So it just really goes to show you how obscenely priced the Hasbro brand was. And they private industry, you know, on Hulu, I'm looking at my TV. On Hulu, they've got these, it's a little series of cars that built America, this documentary series of companies and products and inventions. I think there was one dealing with the Caterpillar tractor, the whole history of it, everything that the inventor had to go through. They did one with the cathode ray television, and there was a race to who was going to be the first to invent TV. And the point that I am making here is that I do want to keep the private sector in perspective. You know, I just don't want to mindlessly vilify them. Most companies end in catastrophic failure. Okay, because we definitely like to vilify the great success stories, the McDonald corporations, the tech platforms, the big oil, the automotive, and all these super successful corporations. But for everyone that was super successful, there was, like, I'm guessing 1,000 others that went down in a blaze of glory. It made me think of, I think it was Apple, if I'm not mistaken. Steve Jobs, he's Apple, right? Steve Jobs, Apple, you guys know the history, started it in a garage, and there was a guy, maybe you've heard the story, he bought some very, very early Apple stock. I don't know how much he bought it for, but it gained, and it got up to $800. So he cashes out for his $800. And that was, I don't know what, mid-80s, I think. I don't know. But this documentary, it came about Apple. It came out, I think, in 2012, something like that. So back in like the 12, 13s of the 2000s, they said that his stock, had he have kept it, it would have been worth $80 million. And yeah, he is bitter about it. He says that to this day, he refuses to buy any Apple products, you know, so. But hey, to understand where the man's head was at, you know. Maybe he only bought the stock for $100 and here it is $800 and he wants to get out while the getting's good, you know. Many companies, they do go down in a blaze of glory. So I said all that to basically drive home the point is that, because they also did one on Mattel, Barbie, oh my God, anatomically correct doll, the first doll with titty walls, and they did one on Hot Wheels and versus Matchbox and all this stuff, and it's all this competition, right? And they say it, that competition is good, and the point though is that many of these companies, they teetered, and boy did they teeter. It's like, especially I think with that Caterpillar documentary, Caterpillar tractor documentary, these companies just teetered on absolute collapse. And I personally think it's my personal considered opinion that this, shall we call it financial Stockholm syndrome? I believe there's something about it that just simply makes them very Ebenezer Scrooge miserly. They're very, like how with, we saw how people stuffed money in mattresses in the wake of the Great Depression, you know, back in the 30s. You know, actually there were people who never trusted banks again for the rest of their life, you know. They were willing to risk keeping their fortune, their nest egg in their homes. And that is what happened with their mindset. I think that's what happens with these CEOs as they launch their companies. They're just absolutely terrified that it could all come down like a house of cards. So that's why they're always going to be very reticent and hesitant toward paying any kind of premium wage, because in our little cartoon doodad, PSA doodad, it talked about how, you know, oh my goodness, they pay the employee a good wage and all this wonderful stuff will happen, and the reality is that it just simply doesn't work that way. Innovation, if you innovate things and make it cheaper to produce, I'm sorry, those savings, they do not get passed along to the customer. It doesn't happen. The private sector says to itself in its board meetings, well, if they're already used to paying that price, let them keep paying it, and the savings will be in our pocket. It'll go to the investors. After all, we've got a fiduciary duty. I don't know. Whatever it is they tell themselves, okay? Whatever it is they tell themselves to help themselves sleep better at night, for why they end up raping raping the economy. Because, you know, I mean, good Lord. Car companies, they've never been more automated than they are today. There are more robots on the line than there are humans, and yet these vehicles cost obscene amounts of money, okay? Just obscene amounts of money, all right? The fact that they don't have to, the workers' comp and paid time off and HR issues and all this stuff has been slashed dramatically with so many corporations, and it's about to be slashed dramatically in the fast food industry. But I'm sorry, you're not going to see it at the checkout. No, it's not going to happen. Stop lying to yourself. It's not going to happen. The inflation is not going to come down. Okay? Now, before I leave you, I want to play you a little bit more about how the government manipulates and causes inflation. And something tells me you may have already heard this.
Steve!
Hi. Hope you haven't been waiting too long.
No, I just got here myself.
Well, come on, let's go. It's time for the grand tour.
Now, you're sure I'm not keeping you from any important work?
Positive. As a matter of fact, I'm stumped with a problem that has to do with $2 bills. Maybe touring this place will give me some ideas.
Well, then let's go.
Boy, is she excited. Great fan of yours, Wonder Woman.
Thank you.
Well, now, shall we see how we make money? This is our main printing room with the presses printing various denominations of bills. Now, the result is valuable green paper, which people refer to as money.
If it's only green paper, what makes it so valuable?
Well, there's tremendous amounts of gold to back up the various bills. The gold is stored at a place called Fort Knox, yet the green paper is easier to carry around in gold bars.
Couldn't anyone print money? It looks like plain paper.
Very special paper, very special inks, and of course, the engraving plates, which I personally keep under lock and key. Oh, my fiancée, Maggie Robbins. Wonder Woman.
Hello.
Major Trevor. How you doing?
Hi. I hope you won't mind autographing my menu. It was the first thing I could grab. It's for my brother in the Army. It'll boost his morale.
It's my pleasure. Anything we can do for our men in uniform.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for showing us around.
There you go.
Thank you.
And thank you. The tour was fascinating.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's amazing what a simple process it is to print money.
Well, you heard what Hank said. All you need is the equipment.
Well, if you had the equipment and the plates, for instance, well, you could make as much money as you wanted to. Millions or billions of dollars even.
Sure, as long as the law didn't catch up with you.
No, what I was thinking about is what it could do to the economy.
Why, it would destroy it completely, that's all. Wonder Woman, you're wonderful.
What did I say?
What you said was that counterfeiting money on a large scale like that during wartime would be a very potent economic weapon. Thanks, Wonder Woman.
Get us out from under Wonder Woman. No, even though, yes, I do confess to having quite the gay boy crush on Linda. But you never heard of a gay boy crush? Yeah, I got a little gay boy crush on her. Despite what the government does, and that had to do with inflation. However, the inflation, because I love how Steve said, as long as the law doesn't catch up to you. But what if it is the law, or should I say government, lawmakers? Okay, what if lawmakers are the one who have turned on the printing presses and have gone apeshit crazy? And the reason why I pointed that out to you, because yes, like I said, I started saying, even though I do have quite the bias for my Wonder Woman, I did pick that particular segment because in that particular episode, it was the Nazis. That was our period piece, first season Wonder Woman in World War II. And yes, believe it or not, the Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, they did indeed. They went straight for the history books for some of the plots in their storytelling. And yes, there was a legitimate plot to flood the American economy with $2 bills. I don't know if it's still the sentiment today, but for a long time, $2 bills were considered unlucky. And the reason why is that, like I said, there was a plot to infiltrate the mint and either steal the plates and flood the economy with, as Wonder Woman said, with millions or billions of dollars, which would then crash our economy. Now, of course, that would have been a hostile foreign entity doing this to us, and yet here we are today, our own government. The very thing that the Nazis, I'm not talking about Wonder Woman anymore, I'm talking about real life Berlin, West Berlin. There was a legitimate plot to destroy the American economy in various ways. That was just one of many. And yet here our lawmakers, the people that we trust with everything, again, going back to the whole soliloquy about government, the love-hate relationship that we have with it, Here it is, our government, the one that's supposed to protect us, supposed to shield us, Our government is supposed to be there for us, and yet here they are. They're the ones who are engineering our catastrophic economic collapse. We don't need a hostile foreign enemy. As the saying goes, with enemies, with friends like our government, who needs enemies? You know, our own government is turning to the playbook of our enemies to destroy us. So that's what I wanted to point that out to you today with the whole inflation, lateral Censor-Log. It is crazy. Hopefully I've made my case. Hopefully I hit all my talking points. But yes, try and do your part. I get it with the whole keeping spending under check, you know. I know, like, wasn't that crazy that the troll said to buy less? Buy less? Okay. They want me to get less than this? Oh, come on, people. Come on, less than that? Come on, okay? But like I said, that's the sickness of the minds of these people who are in this communist cult. That is how the USSR and, you know, that's how these communist superpowers, they ended up collapsing under their own weight. They demanded so much productivity from their people while giving them so little in return. Oh my God. And I'm sorry, it just simply can't. You're not going to be able to keep it up. I think I said it in the segment there, but yeah, that's what happened with the whole Big Short. You know, Michael Burry. They were like, get out of here. People are going to pay their mortgage. With what? With what? What are people going to pay their mortgage with? Okay? So right now, you're out here telling people to load up their credit cards. Spend today, for tomorrow may never come. Sweet Jesus. My God. If this wasn't long enough as it was, I would probably end the episode with a little of a vintage cartoon short, The Ant and the Grasshopper. That's what they want. They want you to be, you know what? They want you to be both. They want you to be ants that just simply maximum productivity, giving your all to the hive, you know. Or they want you to be the grasshopper that just simply consumes and takes and do, you know, tomorrow, the woes of tomorrow will never come. There are so many pitfalls that are ahead of us as we move forward. I do know this, though, getting back to our Trump ad at the beginning of this thing, I do think that they are setting Donald up. I think they've come, I believe, Millennial Post. I know I'd get it out. Millennial Post had a story dealing with insiders. Biden campaign. Apparently it's leaking. People in the Biden campaign are very, very worried. They are not expecting a win. And I'll tell you right now, the Zionist oligarchs, they already have their arc set up on the conservative right. I mean, come on, people. It's why all these, we got Como jumping ship trying to, he's claiming, it makes me think. I watched the movie The Life of Pi when the tiger's in the water. And Pi, he's like sitting there mulling over, should he just, you know, take the paddle oar and push the tiger off so it can die, drown. That it makes me think of Como, you know, once a fierce predator, once the mighty Chris Como, king of the airwaves, and there he is clamoring. He's clamoring to get onto a conservative lifeboat. Oh, you hypocritical piece of shit. And a lot of them, they're jumping ships and they're trying to segue over to conservative podcasting. So I don't think it's going to work, but they're setting Donald up for catastrophic failure. I think as soon as the election, not too long after the inauguration, get ready. Get ready. I hope you've got your provisions stored up, because it's going to get real. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get hairy. God help us all. And with the incoming summer of 2025, you're going to have all that anger under a hot summer sun. Woo, Nelly. You thought you saw the summer of love before. All right, people, that's it for now. All right, I'm going to wrap. I'm going to close out. Yeah, so there you go. Alphabet Google. These are the things that you cannot say. Censorship. How do you feel about that? The censorship list grows on and on and on. That's it for now. Keep fighting and keep your head on a swivel, okay? Because I'm telling you, it's about to get real. Total Control 871.